If we are not able to ask skeptical questions, to interrogate those who tell us that something is true, to be skeptical of those in authority, then we are up for grabs for the next charlatan, political or religious, who comes rambling along. Carl Sagan. Now, many people see this individual and they dismiss him out of hand because he was also an avowed atheist, but I always find it intriguing when atheists begin speaking and they start unwittingly espousing biblical teaching just in different language. In this particular quote, he basically describes the life of Jesus, because that's exactly what Jesus did. He went into the temple, drove out the money changers with a whip. When they attempted to corner him, the Sadducees and the Pharisees, he made them look bad by questioning their questions. And that is truly what his great offense was, asking questions. You see, the cure for a fallacious argument is a better argument, not suppression of ideas. Does any of this sound familiar about what's going on right now? It'll give you a real good idea of who the good guys are and who the bad guys are. And one final quote. An organism at war with itself is doomed. Once again, Bible teaching, and he didn't even know it when he said it. A house divided against itself cannot stand. It's an amazing thing to see. But the battlefield of the 21st century is not going to be the battlefield of the 20th century. It's not going to be won with guns and tanks and planes and bombs. It's going to be a war of the mind. And if you would like some tools, if you would like to quote unquote get gunned up to fight the war of the mind, I have found a resource better than just about any other on the internet that talks about cognitive distortion. The people in the media, both legacy and online, they have monetized your cognitive distortion. Let me say that again. They have monetized your cognitive distortion. Now, if you want tools, and if you want actual assets to defeat this, there is a person on Twitter, has a website, Patreon, Danny Donovan, D-A-N-I space D-O-N-O-V-A-N, just like it sounds. Danny Donovan has put out some incredible information about how to defeat the mind games. Our mind can play tricks on us and influence our thoughts, emotions, and actions. These faulty beliefs are known as cognitive distortions. This is her channel on Twitter. This person has more information and knowledge in her little finger about psychology and sociology than all of the online media masters combined. And what she has done is taken these concepts and broken them down into these incredible drawings that make it so easy to see. Sometimes things like cognitive dissonance and biases and different things that we've talked about, they get a little complicated to explain. But when you can put it in an image, it makes it so easy. This is her website. It's adhdd.com/comics. Just like it sounds, adhdd.com/comics. And I tell you what, you look through some of these pictures, and it's like, yes, absolutely, that is me. That applies. I totally understand that. Also, Patreon as well. Looks like the ranges are $3 a month to, I guess, up to $75 for some different things. But it's definitely a resource everyone needs. Now, I've tried to anyway, a video. And it's a little video within a video, I guess you would call it, about the 16 major cognitive distortions. And we're going to start here with this first one called Fortune Teller. And I want you guys to watch through this. This will only take about 3 or 4 minutes to go through. And tell me if you don't recognize this in either a commenter down below, or someone you know in your life, or maybe someone else that many people follow these days. Fortune teller, cognitive distortion, believes they know how things will always turn out, attempts to predict future outcomes, reactions or events, and anticipates always negative outcomes regardless of actual odds. Have you ever found this person? Fortune teller. All of their fortunes are always doom and gloom. You never see any of these people online predicting things to be good and, fantastic events and things to be happy about. All the fortune tellers are doomer, gloomer types. Who's the next one? The blamer. Blame self or others for things outside of their control. They always want to know whose fault things are. Focuses on who's to blame for the problem rather than working to find a solution. This is a big one. This is a big one. Whenever I talk about Florida, whenever I talk about the governor, I get about 100 of these people. Downplayer of positives. They're just saying that to be nice. They don't really mean it. Doesn't give self-credit for things. Dismisses positive experiences and accomplishments don't count. See, no matter what good goes on in Florida, someone will dig up line 287,000 in subsection B of SB 2006 that says, in this particular situation over here, and I know you guys know what I'm talking about. Who's the next one? The uncertainty hater. Sorry. Hold on. Messed up here. Let's back up. Uncertainty hater. Deeply uncomfortable not knowing how things will turn out. Anxious when not in control of situations or outcomes. Decision paralysis. Often worried about making the wrong choice. Goes along with Florida as well. Gosh, Florida sounds good, but I'm just not sure. What if this and what if that and what if the other? I guess I'll just stay in my complete, total lockdown state. Superhero, needs to feel needed, hard time saying no, works well under pressure, people pleaser, saves the day in a crisis. Now this is tied to a whole lot of other cognitive things that we could probably do a whole video on. But they're out there. Trust me, these people that want to fix everything. The should sticker. Every time you see the word should in any sentence anywhere, it should send up a red flag. Thinks in terms of should, must, and supposed to. Holds firm beliefs of how things ought to be done. Disappointed when self or others don't live up to high internal expectations. The government should or shouldn't that, or it shouldn't be allowed, or people shouldn't this, or people shouldn't that. As if things are always going to be one way or the other. The right fighter, also known as the truther. Feels the need to defend their views and prove they're correct. Egocentric, self-destructive, always being right can become more important than the feelings of others. Always being right can become more important than the feelings of others. This is a hint. This is a hint. Egocentric, self-destructive. Personalizer, tendency to believe everything others say and do is about them. Takes everything personally. Blames self for things they aren't responsible for. Personal story. Every time I drop a song, and those of you who have seen me playing guitar know what I'm talking about. There's someone down in the comments below that believe I'm singing to them. Or that the song I'm singing has something to do with my personal life. when neither is the truth. It's just a song. Maybe the person who wrote it originally, but not anybody who's covering it. And of course, the negative filter. I guarantee down in the comments section, you're going to see. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and pull the filters off so that you can see how many of these I have to go through on a daily basis to keep the comment section looking like it's something productive. Negative filterer only focuses on the negative aspects of the situations. The woe is me person rarely gives people the benefit of the doubt, ignores positive events that conflict with pre-existing ideas. Forget all the positive things that have happened in the last 10 months with states' rights. Let's focus on Let's Go Brandon. The mind reader, of course, this is the fortune teller. Predicts what people are thinking or how they feel, assumes intent, often the worst, without real evidence, tends to overanalyze reactions. These are also the people that go into videos and they look at something in the background or some random shape of somebody's hand at some moment in time, and then they divine from that somehow there's some type of a Satanist or a deep stater or something like that. It's ridiculous. All or nothing thinker, habitual black and white thinking. People and events in absolute terms. Everything is a success or total failure with no middle ground. These are also the types that can, when they get manipulated to follow somebody, will forgive everything in that person. Every single thing. No matter what evidence you bring that perhaps you shouldn't be as enamored with that person. But somebody else who has one tiny little flaw, that gets magnified. One is great, the other is terrible. I know everyone out there knows what I'm talking about. The labeler. Judgmental, often critical of self and others. Pardon me. Reduces self or others down to a single, usually negative, descriptor based on their behavior. Lazy, stupid failure, misunderstands, and underestimates people. Now, this has a lot to do with the whole John Gruden situation, and I'll leave it there because of something that happened over 10 years ago in a private conversation. Now he gets to wear a certain label for the rest of his life. Denier refuses to accept current, often undesirable circumstances. Just wants to go back to how things were. Spends time wishing things were different instead of finding ways to just adapt and move forward. I know everyone out there is like, oh, I know that guy. I definitely know that guy. The emotional reasoner relies on gut feelings to guide decisions, believe things are true because they feel true. Can have difficulty separating emotions from facts. Kind of sounds like the media on both sides today, doesn't it? Oh, and this is probably the biggest one of all. The catastrophizer. Blows things out of proportion. Thinks tough situations will go on forever. Always expects the worst. Doubts ability to handle things. Still waiting on the giant tsunami from La Palma, by the way. Remember when the world was going to end when Biden took over? And now, 10 months in? It's pretty much looking like in the next year or two, they are going to have lost everything because of Biden, meaning the left. The conclusion jumper creates thoughts and opinions based on assumptions, deduces things based on feelings, not facts, looks for clues to prove they're right. Once again, cognitive bias. This is where when you believe something and then you type it into a search, you're going to get results that then confirm confirmation bias. Oh, the fairness judger may become resentful over unequal treatment. Deeply held moral beliefs about right and wrong. difficulty accepting unpleasant or unfair outcomes. Life isn't fair. Right and wrong depends on what your value system is. And unequal treatment, get used to it. That's just life. And lastly, I believe, the hothead needs to express self-defensive, firm beliefs, sensitive to criticism, low tolerance for frustration. Now, as I had mentioned before, John Gruden resigns as the Las Vegas Raiders head coach because of something that happened in a private email 10 to 11 years ago. Multiple things, actually. My question about his situation is this, regardless of what was said in the emails. Does every single head coach, assistant coach, and player and member of the NFL at any level have to submit all of their private emails to be sifted through and to be observed by everyone publicly before they're allowed to work in the NFL? That's my question. You're telling me they didn't know about this? That this email magically just appeared recently? Yeah, tell me another one. Oh, and by the way, for those of you out there that still think we should trust everything the government says all the time, CNN, 12 October 2021, U.S. Task Force proposes adults 60 and older should not take daily aspirin to prevent heart disease or stroke. But what have we been told for the last, how many years has it been now? At least 10, if not more, that your doctor recommends daily low-dose aspirin. They even have it labeled in the drugstore as being a benefit for heart health. Well, now they're going back on that and saying, well, maybe not. And I'll give you the link to this CNN Health article. And also, as one final thing, on the right, remember the quote from Carl Sagan about an organism at war with itself? I'm sure a lot of you know what the term cytokine storm is. Well, now they've figured out some way to stop that. It's basically where the body's immune system is actually worse than the disease. And they're saying that it might be an evolutionary trait to stop the spread of diseases, an organism that just suicides itself so that it doesn't spread whatever it has. So anyway, I just wanted to cover all this, but once again, Danny Donovan, seriously well done. This needs to be something that, if it were me, I would make it required for high school graduation. Understanding this level of psychology and this level of sociology. It's a college course now, but it really should be high school. Because of the advent of the monetized media that has a vested interest in cognitive distortion. Both the left and the right in the media, online and legacy, have a vested interest in maintaining your state of cognitive distortion. And this woman will give you the tools, all the tools you need in an easy format, a super easy format to break all this down. Does this so much better than I ever could. The Faces of Cognitive Distortion, that's just one we went through here. So many of them. Amazing, amazing resource. Danny Donovan, once again, wish I would have found you a long time ago. ADHD Comics, as I'm sure that will probably get you there in a search as well. Mental Health Illustrations. Great stuff. So we'll leave it there. Ask questions. Both atheists and Christians agree. God bless. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you next time.